the beautiful Alicia Fox.
Spoke to you and said this, Bob, but my name's Billy. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Loaded up with alcohol, more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke! He's gonna puke!
3 ain't enough now, I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
And after tonight, none of you in this ring will ever be the same again.
Oh my goodness, what am I do? There's a 1, there's a 2. Oh!
Wow.
Welcome everyone to 3 Count Thursday, live right here on our Facebook page. It is Thursday, August 22nd, 2019. We are the podcast of the millennium. And this week we have tons to talk about, including Wednesday Night Wars are here, The Fiend's future, and Rusev is the best. But first, our show is brought to you by Alicia's Pillows and Things. If you're decorating your home, you want it to reflect your tastes and likes, so why not add decor that reflects your sports, movie, or TV fandom? Alicia's Pillows and Things is your hookup. They feature pillows of all sizes, stools, and more with your favorite teams and characters. Log on to ngscsports.com, find the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage, and place your order. Of course, NGSC Sports is the home network of 3 Count Thursday, but you can find everything relating to us over at 3countthursday.com. There you'll find our social media links, our YouTube page, our merchandise from whatamaneuver.net, our Patreon page, and much, much more. We got Tim, we got Ryan, of course Jim right here. Boys, how we doing this week?
What a maneuver.
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 Oh, keep going. Get out of your system.
That was it, though.
What a
What if
maneuver.
that got it out of our system?
Are you sure?
Say fast lane.
Yeah.
I don't have the soundboard up.
Don't worry about it. I have it.
Fast lane.
Meow. Beep.
Chris, what's the news you have for us? How, that would be Christopher with a C, Christopher with a K. How you doing, Devin? How you doing, bud? If you're following along in the live video, give it a like, give it a share. We'd appreciate that. In just a few minutes here, we're going to be joined by Valentina Loca. She's going to be our guest on the show this week. We didn't have a question of the week. I forgot to put one up, but that's okay. I think we will have enough of other things to discuss. We do have some independent shows on the docket for this weekend.
Real quick, I just want to share this. Maybe let's do something like mature and responsible for the podcast.
What?
For once, coming from Ryan, even more.
Yeah, that's odd.
But hey, there's a Amber Alert, and I know we have a lot of listeners in the central Pennsylvania region, but a missing child alert, a 7-year-old girl last seen in the Shippensburg borough area, traveling in a white Toyota. If you have any information, 717-532-7361. Very important Amber Alert. So
none of us own a white Toyota. Right?
I do not.
Okay.
No. Cool. So we're safe to drive home from the show. But on a serious note, do with it what you want.
Yes, Chris. We actually posted that a few hours ago. But yes, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are engaged. So.
Oh man.
Wait, you mean I don't have a shot at Becky Lynch now?
Well, I mean,
Tim doesn't have a shot at Seth Rollins.
I'm so mad. I've been doing CrossFit.
I mean, he's
for
so
him
reckless,
for
he'd probably
months.
shoot in your eye, but whatever.
That's fine.
You're looking like you're doing CrossFit.
Sure.
Look, I mean, here's the deal. I mean,
Feels like you're doing CrossFit.
Feels like it. Yeah.
You can still shoot your shot. You can still take a chance, but
That'll be later.
You know
tonight.
what?
more than likely, you're not going to.
Well, that's a bum deal.
Some people would say that the best word in the English language is divorce because it makes all things possible.
Well, there's a comedian, I want to say it was Christopher Titus, that because he was talking about his divorce, and people were like, "Oh," he's like, "No, don't owe. No good marriage ends in divorce."
That's right.
If you think about it. But yeah, a couple of indie shows on the docket this weekend.
What's up, Jordan?
If I miss any, I apologize. But H2O Opportunity Knocks 4 is this Saturday at the H2O
You hear that?
Wrestling Center. That's Opportunity
Oh,
Knocking.
that's that word again. Opportunity.
H2O Wrestling Center, Williamstown, New Jersey. Doors at 7:30. Bell is at 8. And then Ryan, I'm sure you're going to have some information about this one because they did this last year.
They did.
It's like 3 shows in one. There's a Rogue show, there's an Atomic show, and then there's some fucking after party craziness thing.
Show,
yeah,
absolutely.
So it's 3 shows in one.
Way to put over that third show.
Right.
I don't know.
The third show where the
There's
Atomic Heavyweight Championship's going to be defended on that after thing.
Yeah, look, it's been a fucking long week. Don't get on my shit.
All right.
Our brethren
I'm outta
from
here.
the commentary table, James Frazier, is the ACW Heavyweight Champion, Jim.
He is. I
We
love
need to
the
be
guy.
excited about that.
I'm
often.
excited. I'm tired as fuck. I really am.
You look sleepy.
Don't get on my shit. Thank you.
I can't
That
wait
really makes me feel so
to
much
say-
better
to say
about it.
something. Oh, shut
Yeah,
up.
tell somebody that they look like shit.
I didn't say he looks like shit.
You said I look tired. Go home.
Look at yourself in the mirror and say you're a piece
Find
of
your
shit.
mom. Find your girlfriend. Whatever. Tell her she looks tired. Tell me how that works out for
I'm going
her.
to go tell Dana she looks tired. How do you think that's going to go?
Yeah. You tell me.
Tell Skipper. He's
But
tired.
anyway, no, he
is not
He is
tired.
tired. He had a hard day. He got the old anal glands popped today.
Ooh.
Yeah, so he didn't have the best day.
One out of 3 of us would say that's a good time.
It's a good time, huh?
Figure out which one of the 3 that is.
Not me.
And but
Exit only, man. I don't know.
Sure.
sure it is.
Yeah, after
Jesus Christ. Okay, so
gotta
there's
come
3
out.
shows: ACW, Rogue Women Warriors, and then the after show, the
Bonanza.
Bonanza.
It is the Jack Hershey's Chocolate Fantasy to start the show.
Ooh.
That is part 1 of the 3-part show.
Okay,
This
that
is over
sounds
the-
amazing.
This is
I
over
know.
the Stevens Fire Hall.
Over at the Stevens Fire Hall.
Pennsylvania. It starts like it's still indoors, right?
It's all indoors.
Okay, so doors open at 4.
Doors at 4.
First
time
bell is at 5.
So we're talking early.
So what are we talking?
It's a big
3
show
shows.
here.
Can you just say the name again? Because I'm
It is Jack-
closing my eyes.
Yeah. Jack Hershey's Chocolate Fantasy. Jack Hershey is our Atomic's cruiserweight champion. He's defending his strap against Bones, relative newcomer over at ACW.
I think I know who Bones is.
Bones. Dame Smith taking on Ruckus from Blackout. It's a throwback name. Scotty Jeffries is putting his ACW Tri-State Championship on the line against the unorthodox Saren Faust.
Now, is he still turning tricks over there?
Somebody is.
somebody is.
I know that. Scotty Jeffries might be the one. I don't know. So you have Mr. Chow, who also wrestles with Midgets with Attitude, teaming up with Bobby Kruger, and they're taking on Wesley Jacquenor and his tag team partner, Frankie Malibu. Good to see Wesley coming back from a bit of a hiatus. Wesley Jacquenor is back. Then we take a little bit of a break. We reset. We go to the Rogue Women Warrior section of the show. It is Hail to the Queen. We have Ashley America taking on Missy Sampson.
Is he gonna be okay?
I
over
don't
there?
know. We're just going to let him go.
He said the M word and I wasn't ready.
He wasn't ready for
it.
it. He wasn't ready for Midgets with Attitude. Shut up! The MWO. Or the MWA, I guess.
MWA.
Riley Crowe's taking on Brittany Blake. That's a fan favorite, Brittany Blake. Max taking on Casey Dillon. Trixie Tash is taking on Lena Lennox. And in a steel cage match, the Rogue Women's Championship will be determined as Tess Valentine battles Erica Lee for the Rogue Women's Championship, which is currently vacated
Ooh, in abeyance.
in a steel cage, a solid
Steel cage.
match. After that, we're going to take another little break, tear down the cage, then we're going to the punk rock after party. We're going to see Gory taking on Killian McMurphy.
Ooh, that should
That
be a
should be a
solid
really
match.
fun
Real
match.
solid match.
BJ Walker, York's very own BJ Walker, taking on Stockade. You guys know Stockade from CZW.
Yeah,
Little hardcore. So maybe BJ's mouth got him in trouble this time.
Like that's never happened before.
I don't know. And then James Frazier, again, the color commentator or the play-by-play announcer.
How's that going to work out?
I don't know. We're going to find out. I'm not going to go into the ring. I'll tell
you
that
weren't
much.
you weren't there last month when he won the championship.
When he won the championship, right?
So are you going to fly solo?
I don't know
there?
what's going to happen, Jim. They might. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yes, you have to show up there and find out.
I'm going to have to find out.
What you should do is before the match, you should go into the ring and you should try to call. You're going to pick your commentary partner out of the crowd and then pick Nicholas.
No, Nicholas will never be picked from Ryan.
Oh, that's a shame.
I'd rather just.
That's a solid card, though. That is
and he's taking on Bro Keller, who's returning back to ACW after a bit. Bro has kind of spread his wings a little bit and hit some other areas, so it's great to see Bro back under the atomic roof. So, yeah, huge night. Again, doors at 4, bell at 5. Come hang out for a day, afternoon, and evening full of professional wrestling. Yeah,
it should be a solid weekend.
Happening.
So, the weather this weekend here in Central PA is supposed to be fantastic.
We're doing it for the Juggalos and Juggalettes.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
All right.
Hope you like it.
So, that's Saturday?
Yeah.
Tickets are normal price?
Normal price, man.
Normal price? Tim.
Price. There it is.
Oh, boy.
We said the whole thing. None of us took our shirts off.
My goodness.
we
Jason, we'll get to that. We'll talk about AEW in a little bit.
Whoop, whoop. I thought you were talking about the chocolate fantasy thing again. I was like, what are you
I would definitely take my shirt off.
Okay, stop. No, let's leave clothes on.
What?
Jesus.
I have an undershirt on.
I don't care. Leave them on. Leave all clothing that you wore to the studio. Leave it on. For the love of God.
Can't flash?
I took it.
No, I'd prefer it if you didn't flash. Can we get to our guest, please?
Okay, all right.
Can we please get to our guest?
That's fine.
Do we have to?
Yes,
We're gonna
we
leave our
do.
tops
She's
on.
on the line.
We're leaving our tops on.
My goodness.
I'll put my shoes back on. This is serious business.
The shoes are on, folks.
Yes.
We are a mess, but we are glad.
I am a mess.
We are glad.
I blame the workout.
Okay, would you just
go ahead?
Guest. We're
Yes.
getting to the guest. Would you?
I'm sorry.
Would you please?
I can't. My focus is.
Would
gone.
you stop?
There it was. Now you got it.
Okay, we're going to our guest, Valentina Loca. She is joining us here tonight. Valentina, welcome in to 3 Count Thursday.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Good.
Happy to be here.
We apologize for Tim's shenanigans. We're trying to get you on the line and on the call here. He's crazy. We don't know what's going on with him tonight.
I'm hungry and I'm sore. I'm very sorry. I took it out on you, and I shouldn't have. Thank you for being here.
We're all friends here.
Of course.
All right, so
Thanks,
let's jump into this. So maybe we can get Tim food or a nap or something. I don't
all
know.
three.
Advil, something in a little bit here. All right, so just for those that don't have any background on you or know kind of where your story in professional wrestling kind of got its start, when did you first kind of get the bite? When did wrestling attract itself to you and you jumped in and said this is where it's at?
I guess I'm gonna have to give the cliche answer that everyone gives, is that like I've loved wrestling ever since I was a child, and that was the case. I've been watching wrestling since I'm about maybe 9 years old, but I actually didn't really decide to fully pursue it until I was in college. For those who are, like you said, are unaware of my background, I'm actually I like to say 4'10" with a 5'10" mentality. I'm not the biggest person, so I guess coming to that conclusion of being like, okay, I am going to do the wrestling, it's going to be a thing, didn't come until very later on in life, but like wrestling has always been like the biggest love of my life by far.
Now, was there any superstar or gimmick or match or event that really stands out to you when you were like first a fan? Like for me, I think the first one that stands out is WrestleMania 7. It was the first WrestleMania that I ever saw live. Not in the building, but watched live on pay-per-view. So like for me, WrestleMania 7 always kinds of holds like that special place. Is there a superstar, a match, a show that stuck out to you as the one that is like this is like my first wrestling memory?
Oh, definitely. Like I would say by far, like the biggest thing that meant the most to me as a fan growing up was watching people like Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, because I grew up in like a predominantly Hispanic household, so just being able to see also like Hispanic icons on TV and being like, oh hey, like being represented in that way was really awesome. And especially like not only were they Hispanic, but they weren't like the biggest guys either, so it was kind of like a 2-for-1 for me to be like, hey, these people out there doing really cool stuff. And I thought that like the way that Eddie just looked, he could like be my uncle or something. So I was like, man, this is really awesome and really fantastic. So those two guys will always be like the top of like how I regard professional wrestlers. It's just Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. Those are my guys.
Yeah. Eddie comes up a lot when we ask this question. It's definitely awesome to see this generation and a new generation like still reflecting on how impactful Eddie Guerrero was in their choice to like become a pro wrestler.
Most definitely.
So now that we kind of know the history, the background to you, how did you decide that you really wanted to become a wrestler? Let's talk about like finding a trainer and where you got your training.
Of course. Well, like I said, I didn't really decide to do the wrestling thing until later on in life, until I was in college. And in college, you try experimenting, you try doing different things. And for some people, it's like doing drugs or hooking up with a bunch of people. But for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to try doing something athletic because I have absolutely no athletic background whatsoever. I never played any sports, never really did anything like in college or in high school. But around my second year in college, I decided, I'll join the MMA club because why not? I'm fun and spontaneous, and I'll get punched in the face for real. Why not? So after I spent some time with the MMA club and I didn't die or, get broken or anything too badly, and I could survive, the stuff that they put me through, I was like, shoot, if I could do this, like, why can't I go and do the wrestling thing? So I went ahead and I looked up some schools, and it just happened that this was around the time that the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy in Davenport, Iowa, formerly based across the river in Illinois, was open. I think it had only been open maybe about like a year, 6 months at that point, so it was still fairly new. And I was like, wow, to get trained by like somebody like Seth Rollins, who's currently at the highest level in the WWE, a place I want to be. Like, is this a real life? Is this happening? So thankfully, I had a half-sister of mine live only about an hour away from the school. So it kind of all fell into place. Like, this is exactly where I needed to be, time, place. And at that time, I just wasn't going to do the regular people thing. So the same time, funnily enough, that I graduated from wrestling school, I graduated from college at the same time. So I was able to just be done with real-life stuff, and now I can go and hit the ground running.
What is one of the things, probably maybe the most important thing that you've learned from Seth Rollins over at the Brave Camp that's helped you today in your journey to being a pro wrestler?
Man, just like the importance of storytelling. Like, that is probably like the biggest thing that has been imparted on me. Like, and I'm still continuing to train there. Like, I'm calling you guys actually from Davenport, Iowa, as we speak, and I'm still living here. I've lived here for the last 2 years, still training, still learning, and like the biggest thing that we've been imparted on here is just the importance of storytelling. Like, of course, they teach you how to do the moves and how to do them safely and how to make them look pretty, but at the end of the day, like, I just want to tell stories. I want to have an emotional connection with people, and I want to inspire people, and I want to be able to do the same thing for people that wrestling has done for me and that gave me so much happiness, so much joy, so much purpose. So I think above all else, like, that is the biggest thing that I try to do going forward in wrestling, and the thing that they teach us that is pretty much, really important. I'd like to think so.
Awesome.
Nice. This is just a question for me. How often do you visit the coffee shop next door?
Oh, it is so good. Let me tell you, like, my bank account isn't happy with it, but like, it is honestly like, and I'm not just saying this because I'm biased, because they did have a shop in Davenport beforehand. They have 2 locations in Davenport, so I would go to the one before they even opened right next to the store all the time. So yes, the coffee is very good. It is well worth the price. I recommend you go to 392 in Davenport if you guys ever come to Davenport, because it's very good coffee. Not just saying that.
Yeah,
but it's very good.
Recently on YouTube, they had a little thing, and Seth talked about he had a coffee shop. There's a coffee shop right next door to the wrestling school that I had to ask about. So
Davenport's beautiful this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at you doing research, Tim.
Hey, look, man, I'm more than just a pretty face. I know a little bit to get me in trouble. You talked about some of the training and some of the things you took from training as far as the important part of the wrestling business. But what is your favorite part of the wrestling industry so far? Just from your experience both in training and actually competing. What's some of the favorite things that you take from it?
Man, like, also going to sound probably super corny here, but I just love the people. Like, I think the amount of like really amazing people that I've been able to just come into contact and have proximity with in wrestling has just been super awesome, because growing up, I lived in a town of like 200 people. Okay. It wasn't big at all, right on the border of New Mexico and Colorado. And so I was pretty much the only person, like, in my town, in my general area that liked wrestling at least as much as I did. So now the fact that I get to go out and just meet with people, whether it be, like, fans and workers alike, like, just being able to be surrounded by people who have the same amount of passion for this as I do has been, like, the most amazing part, whether it be, like, going on road trips with people and just, like, picking their brains and how they view wrestling or what they love about wrestling, or even talking with fans who, like, come out to the shows that I do and get a chance to talk with me, whether I'm at, like, the merch table or wherever. Like, I just think it's really awesome. I love all of the people that I've gotten able to interact with. And, like, wrestling is cool, but, like, I think the memories that we make with each other are also just as important.
Yeah, I definitely agree. For the longest time before I got involved in the business, I thought that just like being around the atmosphere of people, but road trips especially when you have a nice long one, those road trips are something special.
Oh, yeah, you're not joking, especially the snacks. We love snacks.
Oh, man, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if this show wasn't called 3 Count Thursday, it could probably be called the Snack Podcast, but that's neither here nor there. Now, how important is it to you? I mean, you talked about some of the your biggest influences in the business being Eddie Guerrero and some others, but how important is it to you to incorporate your Hispanic background into your style, your persona, and everything around you in the wrestling business?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I would say, aside from storytelling that I mentioned prior, my culture and my heritage is, like, by far just the most important thing that I try to give to the audience, because not only do I love wrestling, but I love where I come from. And being as, like, New Mexico isn't really known as, like, a wrestling state, because, of course, you have Iowa, you have Dan Gable, you have all the people that are really awesome, and Iowa's primarily, like, a very wrestling state. But when you think of New Mexico, you're not like, I bet some really great wrestlers come from there. And that's not to shame any of the other wrestlers that have come from there, but I think especially, like, with the training that I've undergone and, like, the places that I've gotten to go, I have a very unique opportunity to bring New Mexico to other parts of the country, because it's a beautiful place, love it to death, and, like, especially now recently, I've kind of really hunkered down on, like, my roots, and now I'm trying to do more of a Breaking Bad type thing, because before, when you're first in wrestling, you're not sure what you really want to do yet, so I was like, cool, I'll be, like, Hispanic person, what's that?
Yeah.
So now I'd like to think that with a little bit more experience that I've gotten under my belt, I've gotten a chance to really flesh out this character in a way that can be presented and people can really enjoy it. So I come out with the New Mexico flag more times than not. I'm currently getting gear designed that has, like, the New Mexico flag on it, so that's really cool. And then also just being able in the ring to show that people from, like, a small town in New Mexico can go out and make it and do whatever they want with their life. So, yeah, by far, that is absolutely something that I hold near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, the only wrestler I can think of that's ever been billed from New Mexico was Cactus Jack.
Yes,
Truth
I
or
get
Consequence.
Cactus Jack
Yeah.
so much, especially, like, people, they'll ask me, they're like, is Truth or Consequences, like, a real place? And I'm like, yes. It is a very real town in New Mexico. There's not anything that really goes on there, but there is a place in New Mexico called Truth or Consequences.
But he's not even from there.
Right,
so,
yeah.
like, you can be that trendsetter. So, good on you.
You had actually,
for sure.
You had actually just touched on it, kind of leading into the next question. What references do you use from pop culture or TV and movies as an inspiration for your in-ring persona?
Yeah, definitely Breaking Bad. And funnily enough, like, people are going to roast me for this, but I actually did not watch Breaking Bad until I came to Davenport. So, like, for about a year in, when I was here in Davenport, and when I would tell people, oh, I'm from New Mexico, like, around Albuquerque, they'd be like, oh, have you seen Breaking Bad? And I would have to disappoint them and be like, no, I've never seen it. Like, of course, I knew about it. I knew the general premise of it, all that good stuff. But I didn't actually sit down on Netflix and watch the whole thing start to finish until very recently. So now I'm like, this is amazing. I understand why people love it. So now that I have this unique opportunity, like I said, being actually authentically from New Mexico, I feel like I'm in a good position to do this and have it be somewhat original in its context.
I wouldn't feel too bad. I've never watched a minute of Breaking Bad, so
you were missing out.
I knew you would have watched
it's very good.
I'm sure Jim didn't watch it either.
I have not either.
I know that's not your style
of
TV.
Yeah,
But I figured you would have seen it,
if
Tim.
you like the drama, if you like dramas at all, like
Yeah.
it's very good.
I just don't want to be that guy now that goes
It's
and watches
almost-
it now.
Ryan, in the last year, you've watched the full series of The Office for the very first time.
Hey.
That's true, too.
Don't talk
I'm-
about being that guy.
I'm late to the party. See, I'm at the point now where like I don't film my regular days. Like when a TV show comes out, I don't watch it. I wait till it's over.
You'd rather just binge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like so that's what I did with Breaking Bad. That's what I'm going to do with Game of Thrones. Like I'm going to just go behind
Oh, that
and
sounds
watch
awful.
Load up.
later
fair.
because it's all there. I don't have to keep up with it. So yeah, definitely do it. There's no harm in being late to the party. Just be
Exactly, and there's
be
only
at
5
the party.
seasons, so it's not a lot of commitment. It's like 5 seasons. I think like people have asked me to watch series or start series that are like 10 seasons deep, and I'm like, no, that's too much commitment for me. So definitely, if you want to check out Breaking Bad, it's only 5 seasons. I think it's manageable.
I can do it.
I have faith in you, Ryan.
Yeah, you
Got
can
something new to do.
You can absolutely do it. But to go from your character to actually being in the ring, you've held the Brew City title. So what does it mean for you at this stage of your career to be like the face of a company? How important was it for that particular company for it to be your first singles title?
Oh, well, first of all, it was completely mind-blowing because I had no idea I was winning it when I showed up that day.
Nice.
So you can imagine me just walking in the building, just, here to do a good job and here to entertain people, and then to find out, hey, you're gonna win the title tonight. And not only that, I hate to name drop because I hate being that person, but not only to win the title, but to win it from somebody like Kylie Ray, who's currently going to kill it in AEW, and she's super fantastic. Can't
Without
say
question.
the most amazing things about her.
I love
So
Kylie,
like,
yeah.
just to be in that position was absolutely mind-blowing and absolutely humbling in the most important way, because I'm just happy to be there. Like, of course, not to steal her catchphrase, but like,
Right.
I love wrestling, and I'm happy to have any opportunity come my way. And that was actually my first ever appearance at Brew City Wrestling as well. So like, coming into a new company, you want to make a good impression, you want to entertain the fans, you want to do a good job, and then to have the promoter really have that faith in you means the world to me. And still to this day, I'm just mind blown that I get opportunities like these. I think.
Yeah, that's rarefied air winning a title in your debut at a company. I can only think of a couple off the top of my head of like actual debut matches that result in a title win. So good on you.
Thank you.
Now, over the course of different interviews we've had people that have cared to like tag team wrestling more, singles wrestling, hardcore matches, all different variations. Is there one style of match or anything like that you particularly enjoy more, or is kind of your style? Or are you just kind of in it for just about everything?
Oh, yeah, I love everything. I'm so, like I said, so happy to just jazz to do anything, really. But there have been some fun matches that I've had in the past. I've had at my trainer's home promotion at SCW Pro, I had a really big feud with somebody named Reign Victoria, and we had been building this feud all through, like, the year. We've had several different matches, different ways, different gimmicks, but then our last one, our final chapter, was a fans bring the weapons match, and that was absolutely they brought everything from a cookie tray with like Legos glued onto it. That was really creative.
Oh, okay.
And then from things like trash cans and 2x4s, but they also brought things like a lightsaber, like from Star Wars from Walmart, and like a bag of bread. So like we got to have just a whole bunch of fun with that, and like regular singles too. Like I love just getting in there and like testing my own abilities with other people, because since I am smaller than other people and I have to maneuver as such, I have to find really creative ways to get into things, or really creative ways to do things. I can't just pick somebody up and body slam them. Like I wish I could, but that's not necessarily my MO. So just kind of playing a human game of chess, trying to figure out, well, how can I put myself in this position to get you here or there? So like, yeah, man, wrestling's awesome. Like,
Wrestling is awesome, amen.
I'm not letting you get away with that slick Larry Zbyszko reference for nothing. Using the game of human chess, that is good stuff.
I try. Student of the game. I'm a student of the game.
We know that the Midwest is really packed, and it's really a growing wrestling community with a lot of wrestling companies. Have you found this to be a benefit to your career so far?
Oh yeah, by far, definitely. The Midwest is really, as you said, really popping with a lot of hungry ladies, a lot of talented ladies. So I've gotten the opportunity to go a lot of cool places in the Midwest. Just in like my first year, I was talking to my trainer about this, about how many states I've been able to go to just in like this first year alone. And I think we got to the count of like 7 or 8. So
Nice.
like it's just awesome. The opportunities I've been afforded, like for me to go different places, test my strengths against other people, and like. I even got to go back home to Albuquerque last year to wrestle for, because there's actually one independent company running in New Mexico right now. So the times I get to wrestle in front of my friends and family are like really rare. So like opportunities like that are also really cool, because like while I love performing on like big stages in front of a lot of people, just getting to go home in front of like the smaller crowds as well is equally as awesome.
Yeah.
So definitely like, yeah, all around.
And now that you find yourself in the wrestling business, you would say like you grew up as a fan. Are you still able to like go to any shows just as a fan and enjoy watching wrestling still?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I'd like to think that I'm fortunate enough to still have that love for wrestling where I can maintain a level of professionalism about it, but I can also not take myself so seriously where I can look at something and be like, oh, this is a lot of fun. Like, I really enjoy this as a fan. I really am entertained like this. Like, recently, in like the Davenport camp area with my boys, I've been slowly but surely getting everybody on the Orange Cassidy train, and I think that's fantastic. Because like, I just it's like who is like my favorite thing going on right now in independent wrestling. Just as a fan, I'm just so entertained by it. So I've been showing all of my boys, be like, you need to see this. This is fantastic. So slowly but surely, everyone's doing like the half-hearted thumbs ups or like the baby, and so just like little stuff like that is a lot of fun, like as a fan. But then when it comes down to it, like you can still maintain that level of professionalism.
Yeah, I know that me with a couple of friends, we do the half-hearted fist bump. So we'll hang our hand out and just bump. You had mentioned going home and being able to perform in New Mexico as well as your travels in the Midwest. But what are some other states or countries that you'd like to travel in your career? And do you have any plans coming up to make an excursion?
I had the chance to go to Canada for the first time this last year. That was a lot of fun. But I would really love to go to Mexico because recently I've really found a fondness for Lucha Libre. I got the chance, actually, my last little excursion, I suppose you can call it, was actually in Philadelphia. I lived there for about a month and a half. I got to train at Chikara, so that was an absolutely amazing experience. Yeah, it was a really fun time. So I'd never done any, like, highly specified technical, like, Lucha Libre training, because here at the Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, it's mainly, like, just, like, the meat and potatoes, like, what you really need to know about wrestling. Like, you got your headlocks and your body slams and your hip tosses, and that's awesome. That's my jam. But actually getting, like, a specialized niche of training in that month and a half was, like, opened my eyes to a whole bunch of different styles that I didn't know prior. And so I really love to go to Mexico to just, like, learn more about that because I fell in love with it. I think it's awesome. And even, like, Japan, like, I think every wrestler, well, sure. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I'd like to think that most wrestlers would like to go to Japan at some point. So I think, you know, that would be fun, too. I just want to go everywhere, do everything, wrestle everybody.
Yeah, you can't go wrong getting a good first-hand training in Lucha Libre from one of the masters of it in Mike Quackenbush. Mm-hmm. I work pretty closely with some of the Chikara talent at different indies that they work as well. So I know that if you spent a month and a half there, that you wrung them dry with from all the trainers there at the Wrestle Factory, getting as much knowledge as you can on Lucha. So. For sure. I couldn't say enough good things. Like, they treated me so well, especially somebody who came in kind of like as an outsider, kind of be like, hey, girls, I'm from Iowa, just came to do wrestling. And everyone just welcomed me with open arms, and, like, I can't wait to go back. And everyone there is just awesome. I love them all.
All right, Valentina, now this is something we're doing. It's a little bit new. I think you're the second or third person we've had on the live show that we're hitting with this. We're going to do a little bit of a rapid fire questions. So I'm gonna do 4 of them. Then Ryan, I think, has 3. Tim has 3 or 4. I don't know. It's Thursday. It's late in the week. It's tough to count. Math is pretty hard by the time we hit Thursday.
Yeah, we stopped counting at 3. It's in the name of our show.
We're just done. Match is over at 3, so we're good.
Exactly. I don't do math either. It's cool.
All right. So First one, where do you want the Sorting Hat to place you?
Oh, I've only seen the first 2 Harry Potter movies. I'll go Gryffindor.
All right. Disney or DreamWorks?
Disney.
Do you have a favorite movie from one of those companies?
I love Wall-E. I think that's a really underrated movie.
Okay, very good. Favorite sport to watch outside of wrestling?
Oh, Jesus. I'll go football. Go Denver Broncos.
Oh, go Broncos. Okay.
There you go.
And the last one for me, favorite city to sightsee during your travels?
Toronto. Oh, Toronto was awesome.
Oh,
it was like
love
New York
Toronto.
without the fear of getting mugged.
I love Toronto. All right, Ryan.
Pineapple on a pizza?
Yes.
Would you consider hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Nintendo, PlayStation, or Xbox?
PlayStation.
Which Game of Thrones house gets your sword?
Oh, I've never seen Game of Thrones.
That makes 2 of us.
I'll go Lannister. That's the only one I know.
Man, that's more than I knew about it. Honest to God. And then this one's Matt, who is our producer, wants to put this in there. What is your opinion on ketchup?
I love ketchup.
There we go.
All right.
Amen.
Take that, Matt.
American gravy.
Yeah.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Nice. Favorite Avenger?
Oh, Captain America.
Okay. Who do they get? Who does the MCU get to replace Spider-Man now that he's out?
Oh, that hurts me. Can we just get Tobey Maguire but CGI'd as younger?
That would be good.
There you go.
That would be great. She made it.
She made it.
She made it through lightning round. Very good. All right, Valentina. One more question, and then we'll get people to find out where they can follow you on social media and throughout your journey here. But it's a question we always like to close out with our guests, and we have gotten some of the most interesting answers to this question. If you had to pick your dream match, if it was from against any superstar, any era, anything like that, who would your dream match be against?
Oh, I would gotta say, like, out of everybody, I would love to have a match with Eddie. Just Lucha Libre, but we do all the cute stuff. Like, yes, 100%. That's my idol, and I would love to wrestle him.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right, Valentina, you've survived your first time on the show here. You did a great job.
I did.
But before we cut you loose, make sure you let people know where they can follow you on social media. If you have any bookings, anything like that you'd like to plug, feel free to do that, and then we'll let you go.
For sure. Well, I like to make things easy for people. So all of my handles, whether that be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they're all at S West Spitfire. So it's S and then West as in the direction, or Kanye West, whatever floats your boat. Spitfire, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the same handle. Yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm pretty much everywhere almost every weekend in the Midwesty area. I will be at Brew City Wrestling in Waukesha, Wisconsin tomorrow for an all-women's event. It's going to be their first all-women's event, so that's going to be fun. Come on out. And then I've also got an event on the 24th, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, are you guys familiar with Starla from, like, that Hulk Hogan reality show where they had, like, the little people wrestling?
Yes.
Like back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah, she's also going to be at that show. So me and her are going to be booked. I don't know if we're wrestling each other or if we're fighting with, like, as a tag team, but hey, that'll be fun.
Awesome.
That's for Central Empire Wrestling, and you can look them up on Facebook for all the event details there. And then lastly, this is probably like the biggest event that I have going forward is going to be the Rise Wrestling Regional Rising Stars Tournament. I think I got that right. It's going to be in Berwyn, Illinois. It's also going to be on iPay-per-view, as far as I know. You can follow them at Rise DTWA, Developing Tomorrow Wrestling Attractions. Yes, acronyms. And you can get all the info there. September 1st, it's going to go down. It's all-out weekend. So if you're going to be in the area, come out and watch the women's wrestling there, and we'll do the stuff for sure.
All right, absolutely. Sounds like a great time. Valentina Loca, thank you for joining us, and I'm sure we will keep track of you, and maybe we'll talk to you again down the line.
For sure. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, have a good night.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
I just
what a sweetheart.
I absolutely. I love all the different answers and like the different backgrounds of all the people we've had on this show. It never gets old. It truly never gets old. So, again, thank you to Valentina Loca. Make sure you follow her on her social medias. We would definitely appreciate that. I know she would as well. So there was really nothing news-wise, nothing.
Yeah, what time is it?
Yeah,
what time do we have?
We could probably just shut this thing
We've
down.
been on for 40 minutes, so that puts us at 10:10. We've got till 11:30.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing that's happened.
Yeah, nothing, not at all.
No,
nothing, not one.
I mean, things don't get exciting until
the King of the Ring thing, but that's it. Like,
right,
that's
there was like
ring kicking.
There were like preliminary
right,
matches,
so that's not even a
like,
big deal.
Cool, a couple of guys
so
advanced.
all outs next weekend. So
Yeah,
we'll have
so-
stuff to talk about then.
Yeah,
But then,
well,
after that, we won't have anything until October 3rd, right?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, we should probably just
like
talk
Wednesday
about,
nights, October 3rd.
Yeah,
Wednesday nights.
That's the only thing happening on Wednesday.
Let's
right?
talk about food. Then
Ooh,
again,
well, I do.
Well, NXT's on the WWE Network
on
Wednesdays, right?
Yeah,
right.
that'll always be that
It's
way.
it's only on the network. Like,
hold on,
Wait, hold on. I actually heard that you can find it on demand Thursdays if you
Hold
don't
on.
watch it live. Wednesdays.
Yeah, well, see, Matt's on the line. Matt. There's like nothing news wise, nothing coming. Like Wednesday nights are bored. Yes, Tim.
I think we have breaking news right now.
Oh, hold on. We have breaking news?
Yes. NXT is going to be 2 hours on the USA Network starting September 18.
What?
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 Turn down for what?
What?
Ow, I can't do that. I heard.
Oh, Tim just broke himself.
I gotta stretch.
He's got to stretch it out, folks.
Oh, he's got to walk it off.
Vamp, it's our time now.
He's got to walk it off.
Here we go.
Yeah, obviously the big news of the week. Tuesday, it was announced that NXT starting Wednesday, September 18th, will be moving live to the USA Network, 2 hours every week. It will remain at Full Sail.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right. So not a
is
touring brand.
It is not a touring brand. They will remain at Full Sail down there in Florida. But 2 hours live every Wednesday. We'll kind of dig into the layers of this announcement, but it was kind of the worst kept rumor for at least a few days. I think last weekend it really started to bubble to the top, and then everybody expected some big announcement on Monday Night Raw that didn't happen, and there wasn't an NXT invasion of Monday Night Raw or anything like that. It just kind of popped out there on Tuesday morning. So when the announcement became official, because obviously anytime you're dealing with rumors and news sites and all of those,
you got to ask.
you have to wait till it actually happens. So Tuesday becomes official. Like what was your guys' first initial thought? Like NXT movie, Tuesdays live 2 hours or Wednesdays live 2 hours.
I'm probably just still going to watch it on demand on the network. I usually consume it the following weekend.
Or theoretically, you could DVR it.
Or DVR it, right.
Well,
yeah.
it is going to be they've already announced that while it is going to be live on Wednesdays, it's going to be available on the network
the next day
on Thursday.
Yeah,
and here's the deal. I think people freaked out about the 2 hours
for the
thing.
Rest of them.
I'm fine with that.
Raw and SmackDown. Raw and SmackDown are a month behind.
Right, I was assuming it's just a contract thing.
Probably.
You can watch it like on the USA on demand on the cable option.
Right,
and it's on Hulu too.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
so
and I would assume, and I would guess that they would work it. They worked into this deal that NXT doesn't go to Hulu because it goes to the network the next day, and because
that's the only way subscribers can get to it.
Right, and it was an original network product, so it's a little bit different than Raw and SmackDown, which originated as a standard television show.
I mean, I guess we will eventually work through some of the criticisms and everything that we heard. My biggest takeaway was I heard people bitching about the 2 hour mark, that 2 hours is unnecessary. They'd rather leave it an hour. I figure when you factor in commercial breaks, we're actually not getting that much more. Like the NXT on the network will probably be an hour 15.
Yeah.
So it's really not much different.
Yeah, right. It's
because you're figuring in 2 hours of commercials and USA paying bills.
Sure,
so
absolutely.
It's not a big deal to me.
The one part I will reserve judgment on, and I'm looking at this kind of critically.
Sure.
NXT being 1 hour on the network allows the creative of NXT to hide or underuse certain talents.
Okay.
Like if you watch NXT now, you're not seeing Matt Riddle every week.
Right.
You're not seeing Undisputed Era every week. You're not seeing, like, you're able to stretch out the talents. And part of that is because they tape 4, 5, 6 weeks of television in one sitting. So they're trying to spread out how often the wrestlers are out. With it being on television, you may overexpose people who have the right amount of exposure, and also overexpose because now you're filling 2 hours. There's people who were only featured on NXT like once a month, like your Vanessa Bournes and Aaliyahs, your Mansoors, who now that there's 2 hours of television, they may get more time, and that may it's a bigger sink or swim factor for that.
So that was your first thought when you heard.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
is that a good thing that they're getting more?
I think I'm reserved. Like, I think it's a point that could swing towards the AEW side because in certain lights, NXT is still developmental. It's not, but some of those guys are pure talents already, and they're polished and they're ready to go. But for every one they have at the PC, they've got another who is an unknown quantity, and they're still trying to figure out what they are.
I think to that point, it's no surprise now that we just had the Rising Star tournament thing in NXT.
Sure.
That familiarized, yourself with 10 new talents, 8 new talents.
So it's almost it's almost like it was planned.
Almost. That this wasn't like
it's almost like they.
I mean,
knew
I'm not
this was
saying that
coming.
they didn't plan it to rival AEW.
Oh,
I'm not saying that's the case.
No.
And two of the people from the breakout tournament are already on like the 205 Live roster. Isaiah Swerve
right.
and Angel Garza.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Matt, when this announcement first became official, what kind of was your initial thought, take, opinion?
Some slight hesitation, just because it seems like what they have going right now is going pretty well. I don't know. I mean, we've talked about how exhausting like the big weekends are when we get 3-4 days of wrestling in a row. Now that they're trying to do it live, it's kind of questionable. I probably would want to still take the break and watch it on replay, but if it drives up the ratings, then more power to them. It seems like a risk to me to take a product that has kind of this following on the network and move it to a live product.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, my first reaction was probably fairly negative on this. I mean, it really was, because you have something that is clearly working as it is. I think the audience is fine for what it is. You get a bigger exposure on your takeover weekends. I don't know the facts and figures of if takeovers are driving subscription numbers in the days following them. I would imagine to some degree they are, because again, even at a bad week of Raw, say 2.5 million viewers, you have 1.6 million subscribers. There's almost 1 million people gap, and I get WWE's probably trying to fill that gap, but my theory is if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, I'm not going to go work on the plumbing in my kitchen because there's nothing wrong with it. Also, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's very true.
But there's nothing wrong with it, so I'm not going to go up there and start messing with it. But as this week's kind of played out, and I thought about it a little bit more, I've kind of softened my stance on it. But there is still concern there, like just in the sense that again, you're going from 1 hour to 2. Some of the things that you guys have already said, 1 hour to 2. You know, how are you going to fill that extra, 20, 25 minutes? I mean, extend a couple of matches. Maybe you really don't have to change a whole lot, but instead of a 6-minute match, you get an 8-minute match. And then the next match, instead of, and not that you're going to do this every week because then it becomes predictable, but you know what I mean?
I think we see longer matches in NXT to begin with.
I think I mean, Raw silently over the past, 3-4 weeks, Raw has had more longer matches and quality matches, but I would agree in
general, yeah,
in general. But when you are, and we've always said it, NXT to me has always been more a wrestling show with stories, whereas Raw and SmackDown are an entertainment product with wrestling.
Yeah.
So now, really, the thing that I'm curious about is, and there's tons of rumors, and if you think that any of the Vince is going to fully run NXT, or it's going to suck because Vince is going to have his hands in it more. Vince already has, the NXT is a WWE product. If you don't think that Vince McMahon gives the final yes or no to things, regardless of how much Triple H runs NXT, you're crazy, because it's still Vince paying the bills and turning the lights on. But yes, Vince will probably have more hands-on than he has before, because it is a different presentation with a different demographic and all of that. But to any degree of Triple H isn't running it anymore, or Triple H is definitely running it and Vince isn't even going to pay attention, it's all speculation. It's all it's all just chatter, no different than we're doing here. So none of it's fact, all of it's rumor and speculation and all of that. But that's one of the things I'm most curious about is in about a month, less than a month, when NXT goes live on the USA Network. What does that NXT look like? And whether it's a 100% reaction to AEW on TNT, or if they were they were thinking about it and decided to pull the trigger and get it out early, the smartest thing they're doing is getting it out early, because you're establishing a new brand on the network that wrestling fans, at least for me, we've
been conditioned to watch there.
Wrestling
for a while
on USA.
Now.
That's what we do, and you're going to get conditioned to tune on to USA at 8:00 on Wednesday nights for at least 3 weeks. So it's
before that switch to TNT,
right.
or that potential switch to TNT.
That's smart business.
Yeah. The one thing I will say is this is absolutely a reaction to AEW.
I truthfully believe
it is. It is Vince on the sell.
Yeah.
Because there was talks that possibly NXT was going to move to Tuesdays if it was Tuesday night Dynamite instead of Wednesday night. Or they don't even have a name for the show yet. It's still just AEW.
Right now it's still just AEW
wrestling.
Right. I mean, even in their press releases about the next two shows, 4 and 5, I think even in the press release it just says AEW on TNT 4.
Yeah, right. And that's fine. That's fine.
Which is weird to me, but do your thing.
Yeah, AEW on TNT is a great.
It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, but it's absolutely Vince on the sell. I think, to go back to one of your points, Jim, I think that the risk-reward factor is actually rather low, meaning it's less of a risk and more of a reward, because Vince is taking, and this is not a slight on the talent or who's on the NXT brand currently, but if you're looking at this in the factors of a war, you're taking your pawns and you're putting your third brand against AEW. And here's what happens.
Much better song than the one that they currently use, too.
This is always the NXT theme for me.
Either AEW gets stomped out by NXT and NXT becomes the third brand and it becomes a touring product and WWE makes more money, or AEW beats NXT, which it should because NXT is developmental.
Sure.
And then Vince has to use Raw or SmackDown to fight AEW. and that means better TV for us.
Sure. And like,
But why would Vince have to do that?
Because
Vince is still 1, SmackDown is still 2.
Because Vince loves competition. He thrives on it. He thrives on it so much that he tried to create faux competition by splitting the brands.
That's true.
Like
okay.
It drives him.
Okay.
That's why he's got the XFL to compete against the AAF that doesn't exist anymore and the NFL that will continue to exist until people smarten up about concussions. Like it's one of those things.
And even then, if you pay him enough, they're not going to care.
Right.
Like, here's the deal. Like, Bully Ray is on Sirius, the
Busted Open.
Busted Open. He gave some thoughts on NXT moving to USA, and people saying that it's some sort of personal vendetta or this and that towards.
So Vince moving was the first blow in the war,
right? This is what Bully Ray
Cody
said. He said this
smashing
has nothing to do with the personal vendetta. It has to do with business. You cannot just allow a wrestling universe, whether it's your wrestling universe or every other person in the wrestling universe, to just watch a brand new product unopposed. It's ignorant. It's foolish. It's dumb business. Everything that WWE is doing right now is to counter AEW is not personal at all. The business end of this is not personal. Trust me when I tell you this. Vince doesn't look at things personally, because if he did, Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman would not be his two right-hand men right now.
Great point. For as dumb as Bully Ray is sometimes
he hits that nail square on the head.
Squarely.
He is a feast or famine type of hot take machine.
Yeah.
He's either striking out at the plate or he's turning on one for 600 feet and he's putting it into the next game.
Right, because here's the thing. If business decisions were made on personal feelings, you would not bring in the two guys who tried to put you out of business.
One guy who almost succeeded. To be the guys to lead your two biggest brands to put another company out of business.
Just take a moment real quick and think, as a wrestling fan, how capable we were of watching Raw and Nitro and just wearing out that reverse channel button.
Oh, yeah.
Now imagine in 2019 being able to do that, but like also having social media to kind of guide us which way to watch.
Or also
like,
having
a really, really good thing for wrestling.
And iPads and phones and possibly second TVs. Like, you can literally go to Target and get like a 32-inch TV for like less than $100.
Right.
Like, it's not, if you really want to go that far, you can set up
two TVs and watch
set up
it
two TVs and have them both going.
Right.
It's actually going to be a lot easier now to absorb both products at one time.
But like, we got along without having other TVs and social media and tablets.
Like, if there's a slower moment in a match.
God, what's that? You just fucking flip back and forth.
Raw goes to commercial, flip over to Nitro. Nitro goes to commercial, flip back over to Raw. Unless something holds your attention.
Nothing on Nitro holding your attention, flip back to Raw.
Right,
nothing
exactly.
On Raw, see what's happening on
it's
Nitro.
really that easy. Let's get caught up here on a couple of the...
Rising tide should rise all ships.
Agreed. Let's get to a couple of the comments here. Lee asks, do you think the more main roster talent will appear on NXT? For me, if I'm booking, and maybe that's how we should address this question, and all of us can address it.
We'll address it.
Is, for me, if I'm booking NXT, no. Just let NXT be NXT, because really, once you get to October and SmackDown moves to Fox and Raw stays on USA, I don't think Raw talent should be wild carding over to SmackDown.
I agree.
And vice versa. The wild card rule has been the most convoluted, confusing damn thing that has happened in this company in a long time. So simple is better. Raw superstars on Raw, SmackDown superstars on SmackDown, and NXT superstars on NXT.
I'm going to go the opposite direction and say absolutely. I love what they did with Cesaro a couple years ago in NXT when he went down and like feuded with Sami Zayn. I think Breezango fits better up on the main roster. So I think I'm not going to call it like a demotion, but I think you can move somebody up to a quote main roster spot in Raw or SmackDown, and if they don't flourish like they should,
so
move them back to a smaller
like a draft type thing.
Yeah, I think that would be okay.
See, I would have no problems with NXT being involved in drafts, or have an NXT presence in like Survivor Series.
Okay, sure, I agree with that.
Where it's one night a year where superstars or brands interact with each other.
All brands, sure.
But I'm fine with all brands. But otherwise, hands
I think
off.
that needs to happen.
I agree.
But okay, so yeah, I'm thinking maybe more draft style.
Oh yeah, I'd be fine with
participation.
yeah. That'd be totally.
And that's
fine.
how you handle call-ups right there.
Yeah.
I am going to take the middle ground.
Pussy.
No, because I'm going to pick the guys you aren't picking. This is where guys like John Cena and The Undertaker and all of the part-time, not seen special attraction people will go.
Huh.
You want to draw a rating on a Wednesday night? Show somebody we don't see all the time. Don't give me who I saw on Monday or who I'll see on Friday. Strut The Undertaker out there and have him go face-to-face with anybody.
Or
have John Cena take on Undisputed Era and beat all the Undisputed Era guys. Like, or like that's a joke.
Sure.
But
there's your Goldberg Matt Riddle opportunity.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
You have the opportunity to utilize all of these legends.
Very nice.
Who you've been strutting out. Shawn Michaels is already there.
That's true.
Send Shawn Michaels.
There you go.
Use Jerry the King Lawler to do the King's Court and have the interaction between Jerry the King Lawler and the Velveteen Dream.
See, now Scotty has a good point here. Like the Ascension back in NXT, that's where they thrived. That should be something that happens.
Man, I miss Connor so bad.
Is he hurt?
I don't know.
No, they're just not on TV, so put him back in NXT. Why wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
I'd be fine. I mean, Breezango's back there.
Breezango's doing
which
better
is
down
awesome.
there. And again, on a small crowd, that people dancing, that's a thing again.
Matt, how would
important.
you kind of handle, would you interbreed with brands or?
I think it could be done, just not all the time. Like maybe like on a rare occasion have that kind of crossover. But if you're doing it constantly, it's just going to get stale. So I wouldn't mind seeing some of the bigger names from WWE pop in on NXT for a match. I think it would be fun. But again, like if we're getting that every week, then I would get over it pretty quickly.
I think they should limit it, though, to people who used to be in NXT.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Because that way you can, for those who didn't follow along with NXT, if a Cesaro or a Kevin Owens or a Bo Dallas.
Bo Dallas was the first name that popped
Like-
up.
I would like that. Yeah.
Or Titus O'Neil or any of them
Right.
come back to NXT, then you go, NXT alum. Perfect. And then you can see that
bridges
the
that
people,
gap. Yeah.
The people you see today will eventually be your stars on Mondays and Fridays.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, and
William had a comment. Ascension was lost in the shuffle on Raw, and I think that's the people that we're talking about is these NXT stars that were over in NXT that kind of got lost in the shuffle. That's a great way to put it. Like, EC3, am I right? Am I right?
Right, Frank Boris just jumped in, so he would probably be right with you. And I mean, and here's an unfortunate or just an honest fact: not every guy that is good or great on the Indies or good or great in NXT is going to be that in the on the main roster. It just is what it is. But in the same time, there are superstars I think that, at least in the NXT that we know and love now, that are main roster products that wouldn't be as successful. I mean, you think about, like the way
two names
the
off
way
the top of
Ring
my
of
head.
Honor used to be. You think there was guys that, like, if they got their start in the WWE, if they left the WWE and got a Ring of Honor booking, the crowd was not too friendly with them. Like, they basically had to, like, earn the respect of the crowd. Because it was a different style and it was very different, and NXT is different than the main roster product. So again, what this new NXT is going to be, to me, that's one of the most exciting parts about it. Is are we literally just going to tune in on Wednesday, September 18th, and see the NXT that we're familiar with?
Mm-hmm.
Just in a different format, like
That's what I think.
a different time, and
That's
I
what
think
you
that's
start.
that at least to start. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, you can't start NXT with like the New Day.
No,
Again, NXT alums, but I don't think you can do
Well,
that.
two of 'em.
Or two of them were, yes.
Sure.
Two of 'em. I don't think you can do like the shtick where they're throwing out pancakes to the NXT
no.
crowd.
And here's the thing, I think the best way to start NXT on USA is the same way that we had seen a lot of takeovers start, and that's pretty much a dark crowd, Triple H in that ring, and rallying the fucking troops.
Have Triple H cut that NXT is the spark that lights the fire, that it lights the flame, that burns the...
Like every time he does one of those, man, I want to kick a fucking hole in my door and get fucking going.
Yeah.
It's like the Raw intro.
The Are You Ready? The Are You Ready?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that's the that's the
Jim,
best
you're
way
absolutely right.
to start that show.
We are NXT, yep.
So there's...
Because also it provides that familiar face that we have seen on our TV for 20 years.
So we're talking about booking this show. Who is the first act that comes out from the curtain?
Velveteen Dream.
You think it's Dream?
I think the first match on television will be Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong for the North American Championship. Bank on it.
And Rod Strong wins.
And Roddy wins.
Okay. So we're not far away from saying.
We're not, but I think the first name strut out is Dream.
I don't know.
I feel like you have to go with Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Like you have people looking in, the whole Adam Cole baby, that reaction thing.
Excuse me.
That's
Adam Cole what?
Old Bay.
Adam Cole what?
Baby!
Thank you. Baby. What the fuck is baby?
Old Bay.
What kind?
Adam Cole Old Bay.
What kind of
idiot? I think that whole presentation, you're like, oh, this is cool. This guy's important. I may not be familiar with him, but everybody in the crowd does. This guy's important.
Yeah.
And then you can bring Dream out.
Right.
But that's how I would
bring
do it. But I think you're not wrong with
No,
Dream.
I think that match is just fine. But I think that the first music, the first sight that you see is the Undisputed Era, because I think wrestling fans love factions. I think wrestling fans love being interactive, and not that Dream isn't.
Right.
But to me, there's nothing in WWE right now that is more interactive than Bebe.
But you're gonna lead with your heel faction.
Oh, they are heels.
Yeah, like you cheer them because they're cute and they play air guitar and they do Bebe, but they're heels. Like
that's okay. To me,
so the tapings that are done get us up to the live.
Yes.
Okay.
And they've canceled the 2 sets of tapings
right before because
they're going to go live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the spoilers that are out there, you can see what frames up heading into.
Mm-hmm.
So they're out there if you want to get them. We're not going to play spoiler or let you know that anything.
Han dies. Oh, sorry, that was this one.
Hate you.
Matt, what? Who is the first superstar or superstars that we see when we go live on the 18th?
Iron Man.
Matt Riddle.
Oh, that'd be solid.
See, there you
too.
go.
That'd be solid too.
Again, it's a baby face. It's a star. It's somebody who you want the fans to get. It's like saying WCW's first match on Nitro was Flying Brian versus Jushin Liger.
Yeah.
Or no, it wasn't. Yes, it was. First match was Flying Brian, Jushin Liger, and Flying Brian comes out first. Flying Brian's the young star. They're going to try to make $1 million off of him, and they're reliving a match with Jushin Liger. Like, that's it.
Okay.
And the main event of that...
You mean we're talking Nitro, right?
Yeah, I'm comparing it to Nitro.
Okay.
But, like, the same thing with the first Raw. I think the first Raw, Shawn Michaels is in the singles match to start, and the main event is Undertaker.
But to play devil's advocate a bit here is, so if you had the NWO when Nitro launched, you're telling me that like the NWO it wouldn't have been impactful for the NWO to come out first, or like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, China, D-Generation X,
China.
Like that.
So you're thinking heel comes out, runs the crowd, face comes in, makes the save, everybody's happy going into the first break.
Well, see, I went with WCW as my main example, and also old WWF, because at that point they were wrestling brands that entertained, much like NXT. When you get to the NWO, you start to become the entertainment brand that has wrestling. But even when the NWO started to take form, Scott Hall didn't walk out at the beginning of Nitro. It was near that 9 o'clock hour. important time.
Right, but if we're talking, because you brought up the first episode of Raw, first episode of Nitro. I'm saying if you have other programming, or there's a program that you're moving to a new night, new time, new format. If the NWO is already an established entity within your company, I think it's impactful if the NWO's, Nitro starts and, this show is brought to you by the New World Order. Or if the D-Generation X, the heel version of D-Generation X that they were to start, the cool heel version of D-Generation X that they were at the start, if they're already an established entity on, Saturday morning Superstars, you debut Monday Night Raw and you hear, the Are You Ready music starting. I think that's impactful as well. Like, and that's why I think starting it with Adam Cole, Bay Bay, and then and the Undisputed Era could be just fine, regardless of the fact that they're heels.
I'm totally wrong.
Back to Raw.
I'm totally
you looked
wrong.
at you were a little wrong. It actually started with Sean Mooney outside. That's how they started Raw.
With Bobby the Brain
Heenan.
trying to break in.
Right.
But the first match
was Yoko
versus
Coco Beware.
Who was I believe Wait. No, Yoko was not Yoko was not WWF champion at this time.
He was not. No.
Because Raw started, what, 93?
January 93.
Yeah, Brett would have been champion because it was going into WrestleMania 9.
Steiner Brothers defeated the Executioners,
And
Dwayne Gill and Perry Hardy in 3 minutes.
Good Jesus.
Shawn Michaels defeated Max Moon to retain the Intercontinental Championship, and The Undertaker defeated Damien Demento.
Like, so I just... Like, Nitro debuting was a little bit different because...
and Kamala turned babyface that episode. A lot of big things happened here.
Wow, I almost want to go back and watch the first episode of Raw now.
It's tough.
I bet. I really bet.
Yeah.
Rob Bartlett. Yep.
But, like, Nitro, the beginning of Nitro was a little bit different because you had that Monday night establishment. But, even still, it didn't... Like NXT, it's this is something that we haven't seen before. So
yeah,
again, I mean, I think NXT would be just fine to have Matt Riddle be the first, Velveteen Dream be the first, music and star that you see. But to me, like when that question was asked, to me it was Undisputed Era.
One last point,
sure,
because I know we're gonna try to hit some other stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, this is the biggest thing of the week.
If Vince McMahon is more involved with NXT, it's not a bad thing.
No.
Because if Vince is involved, it means that those roster guys now are getting groomed earlier to be stars on Raw and SmackDown than before. What part of the problem is that while I think very much so that Vince is very hands-off with NXT now, and you can tell because when a guy gets called up to the main roster, yeah, they have a lot of buzz, and Vince hears the buzz, but then he doesn't understand the character.
Right.
See Breeze, Tyler.
Yeah.
Like,
or see a lot of people.
The Ascension.
Right.
Bo Dallas.
So, yes, Vince being more attentive to the brand means that he's going to understand the superstars.
That's a great call. If you look at the people that are successful today from that, like the Elias, they come with that gimmick that's very easy for Vince to be like, oh, music guy, got it. I know what to do with him.
Yep.
That's good shit. Like, I know how to do that. Right.
But again,
Kevin Owens, at a certain point, is very cut and dried. He was a family man. He was a fighter.
Right.
And that's a through line.
Remember when he was going to wrestle in a suit?
Right. I remember that. I
remember
they were changing that. That's what that was the rumors.
Yeah.
But
right, no, you're right with Kevin Owens. Oh, shirt, shorts, fighter guy. Got it. Easy.
Yeah, and family.
Right. Bo Dallas, like singlet, hair. I don't know what
Bo
to
Leave.
Do. Right.
Cool. Like,
yeah.
Now, I feel like Vince would be like, Bo Leave, that's good. That's really good shit.
It was. How often did we get that shoved down our throats?
We did for a while.
All the time.
Yeah.
I have a Bo Leave shirt.
I still have it.
Yeah.
I still have it.
And then they made Bo Leave shirts, which were brilliant.
Like for me, I also, people that are getting overly concerned with how much Vince McMahon is going to be in touch with this brand. Yes, he is going to be more involved because obviously, again, this is a reaction to an oncoming storm. So he's aware of it. Yes, he's going to be more involved because if you want the best general your company's ever had to be back in the driver's seat. That said, there's Raw, there's SmackDown Live, now there's NXT, and also there's this football league that's launching in February that Vince McMahon
empowered Oliver Luck to run.
But Vince McMahon does not want to have this fail again.
Well,
he doesn't.
You don't think it's going to be successful?
He doesn't want to fail. Probably going to fail.
It could fail, but I think he is going to be more attentive to what is happening with that as well, so that it at least survives 2 years as opposed to one like it did last time.
Survive one full season
and to not
start
have it
season 2.
and to not have it be a dumpster fire like the original XFL was.
Or the new XFL.
Do you really
AFL.
believe that it won't be a dumpster fire?
I think it has. I honestly think it has potential to succeed because there are.
Yeah, it depends on what you define as success. Will it be NFL? Will it be the NFL?
No, it's not going to be
not.
the NFL.
No.
Will it be like
Here's
a
the thing.
cool version of the AFL, like the Arena Football League?
I think it will be better than the Arena Football League because it's going.
It's actual football.
Like right, well, like, that's the thing. Like the arena football, Canadian football, American football fans don't know how to absorb those products because it's all
tiny little field.
It's a tiny field, or it's a big field, and the goalposts are in the front, and it's like really, really big. People don't know how to acclimate themselves when they could like easily learn a couple
This
of
feels
rules
like soccer, and I'm not watching.
I'm not watching soccer. So. Like the American Hockey League, the East Coast Hockey League, there's tons of minor league hockey leagues. There's minor league basketball leagues. There's minor league baseball. They are all successful in their own way. Is AA baseball or the Lancaster Barnstormers or anything like that? Is that Major League Baseball? No, but they succeed and they carry on and they continue. Is the Reading Royals in the ECHL? Is that the same as going to a NHL game? No,
it's not.
But they've been around for 20 years, and those leagues are successful in their own right. So when I say I think the XFL, and we'll obviously we'll touch on the names and all that.
So you're thinking alternative, not replacement.
It will definitely not be replacement, especially because it's not running at the same time as the NFL.
If anything, I think Jim's on to the right place. I think.
Put it this way: there's guys who played in the AAF that are going to make NFL rosters this year.
Mm-hmm.
If the XFL can
Tommy Maddox.
Well, Tommy Maddox was in the original XFL and quarterback the Steelers. So as long as and Charlie Batch, I think, was an XFLer, if I'm correct. No, he wasn't. My bad.
Not all Steeler quarterbacks were in the XFL.
But there's
Ben Roethlisberger was in the XFL
this season. Actually, that could happen.
But
Rod Smart.
I think as long as you understand what you are, you can be successful.
I think this parlays into Vince trying to sell the XFL as the NFL development league.
Sure.
Because it's NFL is the only sport that doesn't have one.
Yeah.
And especially if they try to get rid of the one and done rule or the 18 years old rule.
Yes.
Like, don't go to college, play in the XFL.
Or you look at
splatter your brain here, so when you splatter your brain later, you get more money.
Right, exactly.
Got
like
it.
Put it this way: Clemson's quarterback Trevor Lawrence was 19 years old, won a national title last year, and people are saying, look, this kid should already be in the NFL.
Lawrence,
I disagree that he should be in the NFL already, but
if Daniel Jones is in the NFL, then this kid should.
He has to stay at Clemson because of like when his birthday is, or something. He has to stay there.
Maurice Claret rule.
Yeah, he has to stay there 2 more years. Yeah, right. So if you give him the ability to turn pro after his second year of college football, guess what? He could leave Clemson after this year, go play in the XFL for a year,
make money,
and then enter the NFL draft the following year. he can sell himself as a brand and as whatever, and he can make money on himself for a year with the XFL and not risk the injury in college where he's just a college athlete.
And basketball players have that opportunity too. Basketball players can forego going to college to go play in Europe.
Right.
That's a big
Overseas.
deal. Yep.
And then eventually get drafted. Baseball, the same kind of way.
Sure.
Baseball's a little bit
Baseball
different.
and hockey are a little different because you can get drafted and still play in college or play in juniors.
And you can play in high school for baseball.
Yes.
Because you get drafted in there are you can be drafted 3 times in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, in hockey, you can get drafted and still, you can be drafted at 16 and finish 2 more years, in Canadian juniors, and then enter your. And so, those 2 sports are a little different. But again, I think back to the original point is, while Vince will be more involved, I don't think it's to the scary degree that some people are afraid that it could be.
Right. I don't think he runs it.
Plus, he's 70,
completely
he's
changes.
73, 74 years old. Let's also remember that. And I know we've heard all the stories of, Vince going on 2 hours of sleep an entire week and this and that. And some of those are probably still true.
Believe that, yeah.
Some of those probably, I don't deny that any of those were true. Probably to a degree still true today. Mm-hmm. But the guy's gonna start slowing down at some point. It's mathematical at this point.
So back to the comments real quick. Some of our fans here will be at the first SmackDown taping in Fox. Jason Thomas says it's time for a Nails return. I had to look it up. Nails is still alive. I thought he died, honestly. So.
There's no way Nails comes back after trying to hold Vince up with physicality for money.
61.
Right, and he wasn't good enough to be able to come back from doing
not
that.
Nails.
Ultimate Warrior returned after holding him up for money, but it was the Ultimate Warrior.
Vince got the last laugh on that one.
Jason thinks it will
he
not
died?
fail.
Yep.
Jesus.
He did his last thing in my ring.
Oh, my God.
Scott asks, are we really clamoring to have football after 5 months of it?
Hell, yes.
Jim is, yes.
I'm fine with it. Give me all the
I'll check it out, but I don't know if I'm going to totally be in it. I need to invest into a team, though. I need to buy into a team to care. Tim?
Meh.
Matt, are you a fan of more football?
Not really, just because that's the heart of basketball season.
Okay,
so
okay. Scott asks, will Kaepernick be in the XFL?
No.
Even though he should.
Hello, Sherry. How are you?
I think he's fine with the settlement and his Nike endorsements and
true.
all of that. I honestly don't think he wants to play football ever again.
Not now.
No.
I don't think so either.
He doesn't need to.
Antonio Brown in the XFL because this helmet stuff is annoying.
Yeah, really. Shut the fuck up and play the game.
Put the helmet on your head.
Hey, there's bigger things to worry about than your helmet, like you being an idiot and getting frostbite.
Yeah.
Scott says
2019
Vince needs to take a nap.
2019 and a multi-millionaire is getting frostbite. Stop it.
Jason wants more football.
Oh yeah, man.
And he agrees that we need to adopt a team. And I think that's going to be the success of that. Is if the previous XFL, I didn't. Huh?
This is the best segue I've ever heard in my life.
What?
Do we have to adopt a team?
You have to adopt a team.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to. Because, I remember Memphis Maniacs had a cool jersey, but I don't think I ever fully adopted a team to care about watching XFL.
And part of the problem with the lack of success in the prior XFL is say you were going to adopt the Memphis Maniacs as your team. They may not be on ever, more or less, on every week. Where now, I'm going to be interested to see how the broadcasts play out. I think every team will be on TV every week. Okay. So you're gonna whether it's one of the 2 broadcast stations, you're going to be able to watch your team every week.
Yeah.
So that's going to help as well.
Jordan is down for more football. So the consensus is yes, more football.
I want to see if I can name all 8 teams.
Here we go.
All right.
This is my favorite game I play with myself.
Tim gets seven correct and then stumbles on the 8.
Tim gets 4 correct
Well,
and then
true.
dies. Okay, so we have the DC Defenders. We have the Tampa Bay Vipers, the Seattle Dragons, the New York Guardians. We have the St. Louis Battlehawks. We have the Los Angeles Wildcats.
Hate that fucking name, by the way. Continue.
The Houston Roughnecks. And
The ones you've named so far.
it's San Diego.
Oh.
No, it's not.
No, it's
Is
not.
it East Coast or West Coast?
Neither.
Oh,
Neither
God.
coast.
So what city's left?
It's a second city in a state of another team that's in the league.
Dallas Renegades. No. Yes.
It is the
That's
Renegade.
him.
So for me,
So do you default just to Dallas
Yeah,
Renegades
he's
as a Cowboy
defaulting to
fan?
Dallas.
well, see, it's a hard decision because Dallas Renegades. It's kind of it's kind of a
the Caps.
Cowboys style logo. I like the color scheme, powder blue, a little bit of red. So pro football, I'm a Dallas guy. Then again, there's the Baltimore Orioles, Washington Capitals connection. Now,
So you could then have your East Coast football team.
I like the Defenders name. It is probably my least favorite logo.
Okay.
Because it screams soccer logo to me.
Right.
And I don't like it.
My
that's that you bigger field soccer don't like it.
Well,
Like,
my least favorite is the fact that the LA Wildcats doesn't have a cat.
well, yeah.
But the New York Guardians has a cat. Even though people say it's a gargoyle, it doesn't look like a stupid gargoyle. It looks like
gargoyle?
a
It looks
cat.
like a cat, yeah.
It looks like a cat. And then the Roughnecks is an oil derrick?
That's a smart
Dumb!
decision.
I
'Cause
love
it's the
that.
Oilers.
That's the only reason I will pull for Houston. I
Yeah,
will
no,
declare
that-
my team right now.
that is
the Houston
probably-
Roughnecks.
That
It is a
is-
smart decision, but nothing about an oil derrick tells me roughneck.
I feel like the folks that work on it. would
Yeah, I was
be a
going to say
Roughneck.
I would think those folks would tend to disagree with you there.
Yeah.
I mean, we none of us can support the same team too. Is that a rule that we can make?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair rule. And Tim, you should be all on board with this now that you don't have an NFL team. Like you should be.
I already have my team.
Who's your team?
I'm going with the best logo of all of them.
The Battle Hawk.
The
go in DC.
St. Louis Battle
okay.
Hawks, baby.
All right.
Let's go. And give me Ryan Mallett. I want Ryan Mallett.
Said no one.
Give me
ever.
the frozen mallet.
Not
right
even
now.
Ryan Mallett's parents said that.
So a Roughneck.
The St. Louis Battlehawks logo just Brock Lesnar's tattoo with wings.
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
That's exactly what it is.
A roughneck, by definition, is a rough or uncouth person. Or another definition, the second is an oil rig worker.
Okay.
So that is the reason for
All
roughneck.
right. That's
it does tie in.
That's acceptable. What's not
I
acceptable
would literally want Warren Moon to be the
is
quarterback
the
of
horrible,
the Roughnecks.
the horrible the worst two logos in the entire league is the Vipers and the Dragons.
And you think it'd be like the easiest two to make.
Right.
Like, let's be real.
It looks like they went on a website called Fiverr and asked, like, hey, we need football logos. And they went on Fiverr and they paid $15 for unlimited edits on this stupid, derpy dragon. Like, have you seen the dragon?
Always pay 15 for the unlimited.
Okay.
Can,
Yeah, it's bad.
I
That
have to
dragon-
look up the dragon now because I'm
That
not.
dragon's not even worth the Viking experience's time.
Damn it! Where's the goddamn?
Where's the Seattle Hingadingadungas?
Shit, which team was the Viking? The Vikings. Listen to
Seattle
me.
Dragons.
Seattle. Okay.
They could have been the Seattle Daniel Bryans and just been all done with it.
Well, yeah.
Oh, they're the American Dragons.
Huh?
Oh, there it is. There's the dragon.
But the dragon still looks crappy.
Yeah, that looks like the dragon, the logo, like on a shitty roller coaster that would sit on the front of the.
Like
that's a rough one.
Like a Dorney Park roller
That is
coaster
right.
too. Like it's not even like a Hershey Park.
That's the dragon that's on the kids section of the
right, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to Dragonland. Rawr. And the Vipers logo. Oh.
Yeah, that's tough. Like and maybe just because like they were like the two-dimensional, like, you know what I mean? Because I think there was I saw them posting video. Each team like posted like a short, like a 3-second like quick video of like unveiling the look, and they had like a 3D look to it, and it looked a lot better. Even the Vipers logo looked a lot better.
yeah,
I'll
call it
declare
the
it now. I'm a God damn.
He's a renegade.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah,
let's just make it easy.
All right.
Let's
So
because like for like the half of a season one time when I really tried to get into arena football, I was a Dallas Desperados fan. So let's just do it. Dallas Renegades for me.
The Vipers aren't that bad, man.
That ugly green vagina.
It's the eye. It's a snake's eye.
I don't care.
Let me see it again.
It's a snake's eye.
It's a snake's eye.
It looks like crap.
And
actually,
it's a V.
that's actually pretty clever.
Wildcats is rough.
Yeah, it's L.A.
But the
Just the letters
L.A. But
all right, Matt.
I also Matt go.
And that's
yeah.
not a gargoyle. I agree with
That's
you.
a cat.
That's a cat. It's
Nope,
like a battle
I'm
cat.
picking it. I 100% Gargoyle, New York Guardians. That's my team.
All right, Matt's a Guardian. You're a roughneck.
Absolutely. That is.
All right.
That is
So
absolutely.
Ryan and I
All right.
are already state rivals here.
Gentlemen.
That is absolutely the best logo of the group.
So do we have to set a wager?
Sure.
Best team. I don't know what we do.
Worst team has to buy the best team's dinner.
Perfect.
There we go.
That works.
Fair.
I do love.
Let's go, Ryan Mallett.
I do love the.
It's a solid logo. Too.
I do. It
The
it
defenders.
just screams soccer to me.
I
See,
love
to
it.
me, that's like Avengery.
That would be
Like
this would
superhero-y.
be the acceptable replacement to get rid of Redskins.
The Steve Zabin show was like they should have just done the DC Redskins too.
The DC potatoes.
just to get the reaction. Like, could you have imagined?
Also, the Redskins.
Could you have imagined like how much play this would have gotten on social, like XFL teams would have gotten on social media if they would have been the Redskins,
the Redmen.
the Redmen, and just use like the old Redman tobacco logo.
The DC.
good God.
The DC Tontos.
Yeah. All right, but I do love the like the identities and like the story. Like,
Thank you, Tyler. We love our night.
like for the DC Defenders, on the shoulders of giants they stand tall, unconquerable, unyielding, marching ever forward, a force united, one quest, one purpose, one resolve, seeking glory through grit, victory through valor. The DC Defenders, taking their stand.
That's good shit.
That's good shit. Like Vince definitely wrote all of those.
Love that.
I love it. It's
Absolutely.
It would be great if we could all read our slogan for
How about
our
this?
team.
Super Bowl or whatever the fuck they call it. Halftime show.
$1 million game.
The $1 million game. Halftime show. Seth and Becky's wedding.
love it. Love it. XFL.com/tickets, Ticketmaster. You can begin placing your season ticket deposits.
I need to go.
Team branded merchandise will be available at XFL.com beginning Saturday, August 24th.
There it is.
So there it
I
is.
gotta get my.
Oh, gotta get my shirt.
Yes.
So like you know how
My
like
gargoyle shirt.
WWE shop is shop.wwe.com. You already know how to find it. Shop.xfl.com.
Works
I
for us.
expect to see some fucking buy one get one.
When does the season begin?
The week after the Super Bowl 2020.
All right.
So yeah, it's
coming up.
less than 6 months away.
We're gonna go to a game, right? We're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to.
Yeah,
DC's not that far.
Either DC or New York.
New York, right?
Yeah, the DC stadium is where the United play. I'm not sure what stadium the Matt's Gargoyles are playing at. Guardians, excuse me.
It ain't MetLife. That's
Get it
is.
right, Tim.
It is not MetLife.
Are they playing in New York or are they playing in New Jersey?
I actually think they're probably playing in New Jersey.
I am curious about that now that we're talking about it.
Let's pull that
That's a good
up.
question, huh?
Talk
Tim, do you
amongst
know where
yourself.
Tim? Do you know where your Matt? Do you know where your team plays?
No.
He does not. He does not.
Ryan, do you know where your team plays?
In Houston.
In Houston.
In
I'm curious.
Actually, I do. MetLife.
I'm curious if the Dallas team actually plays in Dallas. No, they don't. So just like
No,
my
they
Cowboys, they do not. They play in Arlington though. The Renegades play at Globe Life Park in Arlington. which
Globe
is
Life,
that
beautiful.
the Texas? Is that the baseball stadium?
That is the Rangers Stadium.
Okay,
Wow.
I like that.
The logo for the Renegades is kind of date rapey.
Yeah, well, at least we have an identity.
Kind of date rapey.
The Houston
Like
plays
the guy with the mask on with the red eyes, like he's leering
He's
at the
rabid.
girl in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's like how they do it in Texas.
The Sticky Bandit.
The Houston Roughnecks play at TDECU Stadium, which is the home of the University of Houston Cougars. The LA Wildcats play where the LA Galaxy play. I think that's also where the LA Chargers currently play.
Yeah. St. Louis plays at the former Edward Jones Dome.
Yes.
The home
Okay.
of
The
home of
Guardians
Rams.
do play at MetLife.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, that's
That place
gonna
will sell out.
That's gonna look empty. Tampa Bay Vipers play at Raymond James Stadium, which is home of the Buccaneers, and WrestleMania 36.
WrestleMania. Ooh, so is it now? Is it WrestleMania Viper or WrestleMania?
No, I think it's still WrestleMania Pirate. I think the
WrestleMania Buccaneer.
the logo got
WrestleMania Cannonball.
WrestleMania. Seattle Dragons play at CenturyLink Field, which is home of the Seattle Sounders and the Seattle Seahawks.
Wow,
and
okay.
the DC Defenders play at Audi Field, which is home of DC United.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
So really, I mean, it's
that's still a big stadium.
4 out of the 8 stadiums are NFL stadiums. One is a Major League Baseball stadium and one a college stadium and a couple soccer stadiums. So,
And one's been defunct since the team moved to LA.
yeah. St. Louis is really like the only team that doesn't have any other football identity to it right now.
Battlehawks. Bam,
Yeah.
bam, 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 Battlehawks.
I mean, I
I
am
hope it's
excited
successful.
for
I really do.
it. Just
Merch goes on sale Saturday.
Saturday, I'm jumping in
I am too.
head first, baby.
It's payday, baby.
But if they don't have fat man sizes, we're boycotting the XFL.
That's fair.
Okay. I
If
think
they don't, that's fair. I think we need to draw
I
that
think,
line.
I think
Hard
that
stance.
I think that is fair. I think we boycott.
Brothers hold.
We boycott the league. Really, my biggest highlight of WWE TV this week was the Fiend getting Jerry Lawler, and in a different way than previous times as well.
Jerry was
Jerry
like,
loved that.
Nope,
I love this.
nope, don't
I've
want
seen
any.
this before.
Nope, don't want it.
Nope.
I'm leaving. No, you're
Brilliant.
not. The Fiend's like, no, you're not.
Love it. Still very excited. I don't need to see a ton of that because somewhere in my mind I was also questioning like,
Why?
why Lawler? Like what? I mean, I know he snapped and that's what it is, and they can tell me that's fine, but you can't do that every week, which I don't think they will.
No, I don't think they will either.
And it seems to be very like legend heavy, like Mick Foley, and now it's I don't need to.
Well,
be
but he also got Finn Balor.
the
in
Fiend
there.
to be like a legend killer.
No, but
And, like, every time a
but he
legend
also,
spot
but
happens.
he went after Finn Balor as well.
Correct.
And he
Yes,
got Finn
yes.
Balor.
He did
He's
so.
gone after 3 Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
Like that's
right.
my concern is that he's like legend killer status. And again,
Well, I know he's
I'm-
infringing on your boy
I'm
Randy Orton's territory.
Fine with
so
it. I just don't need to see it weekly.
Fair.
Or every time somebody comes back, we see it. Loved hearing Lawler on commentary. I'll tell you that.
That was a pleasant, actually a pleasant surprise.
I actually have my highlight. My highlight was seeing the future of WWE commentary on Monday nights.
Vic Joseph.
Vic Joseph.
Solid.
Vince McMahon's got a new boy.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah, he does. And if you notice, Vic jumped into the play-by-play role, and Cole jumped to color.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely did.
Yeah, and it was solid. It was
Let's tip our hat to Cole because pretty seamlessly Cole was able to slide from one to the other.
Cole is ready to be done.
He is.
Cole will probably end up being a producer for NXT.
That's a great role for him.
Fair. Yeah, very good. I could see Cole going till WrestleMania and then moving along. Call one more Mania and be done when your voice blows out like it did last year. Be done. Ryan, what was your highlight from WWE TV this week?
I mean, it probably would be The Fiend. I mean, I think it's very special still. Love the whole setup. I just don't need to see
It wasn't Braun Strowman winning tag titles with a now grown-up Nicholas? Or?
No, those memes were stupid. I hated all of them. Screw anybody for making them. Probably the whole thing. Well, actually, I don't know. I just highlight-wise, I was really, really excited for the reveal of who attacked.
I'll say we're gonna get the lowlights. We're gonna get the lowlights.
I was fucking hook, line, and sinker the entire show for that. I was like so jacked up, and I even tweeted, "I'm like, they're gonna fucking make me sit the whole show with anticipation. Better be good."
And I'm gonna argue that it was. But Matt, what was your highlight of the the week?
The Fiend, for sure. I enjoyed that whole segment. Anytime Lawler looks weird and uncomfortable, it's fine with me. Like as ridiculous as El Torito goring him in the nuts at the Hall of Fame thing was, I enjoyed that.
I forgot about that.
Can't wait till he's a special guest at Pro Wrestling Empire this fall.
Like he's watching this. Lowlights for the week. For me, it was the OC losing the tag team titles. I mean, I get you get a title on Braun and you're doing this push and pull with the Universal title picture, but you don't have to do it at the expense of the OC.
Yeah, I agree.
That was one of the best things they've been doing for the past few weeks, and maybe they'll get him back. I don't know, but I feel like you cooled that off a little bit. I didn't.
You're not wrong.
Not a big fan of that. Ryan, hit me with the low light.
Well, obviously, it's the reveal is the lowest of low lights. I also wasn't like super thrilled about the opening round matches of the King of the Ring tournament. Like I was hoping for like better matches, maybe. And I don't know, they just didn't connect to me. That's all. But my God, the reveal of who it was, it looked like Mad Monk with a beard.
Here's the thing.
Some bald dude with a beard.
Right. I don't think that the story's not over.
I know it's not.
Right.
I know.
Right.
And shame on me for thinking it was.
Right. They
got me, and that's what I'm pissed about.
It's and again, and I think Tim, you touched on it a couple weeks ago, but I think it was Bischoff's first week even being at SmackDown is one of the things Eric Bischoff has always done very well is cliffhangers.
Yep.
And this story has continued to move week to week, and it's changed week to week.
In that closing segment.
And it's kept you guessing week to week from that closing segment. Like, I loved it because it was everybody goes, what the fuck just happened?
Right.
And there's no way that it's over. Like, this story is continuing. Loved it. I really like. I'm because I don't know where they're going with it. I'm curious where they go with it.
I mean, I'm assuming it was Rowan.
In turn, it probably will be.
Right.
But, Tim, low light of the week.
The fact that Roman Reigns just stood there.
Okay.
Lack of selling to that? Is that what
like
you mean?
He's just like, there was a long pause on Roman. Like, that was a whole bunch of non-preferred. As soon as they took the hood off the dude and it was Rowan's dad, I didn't care. I was just a big meh for me.
That's a huge bitch.
Yeah. And if you go back,
you felt bamboozled?
No.
Hoodwinked?
I just feel like
that wool was pulled over your eyes.
That could have been anybody. And instead you get like AEW Rowan.
That's Impact Rowan, and you know it.
Good place is fake Rowan was like really shaking and like doing his big as Otis Stone's bitch.
Tuggy.
I mean, he was shaking. He wouldn't stop shaking. He just had.
Right.
Well,
Sure,
he was scared. Hit Roman with my vehicle.
If anything good has come out of any of this, a spotlight has been shined on Buddy Murphy. And that is the importance of
that match.
That booking is great.
Him and Brian this
putting
week
on
was
great matches.
Awesome. Matt, did you have a low light this week?
I mean, the low light for me was the same. Just the whole reveal, very underwhelming for all that build up. I get that it's not done yet, but at this point, it's just kind of like I'm not invested at all.
To use like an old TV term, like they jumped the shark this week with the story, where it's like, oh God, that's all.
All right, just a few news items.
I love news items, Jim.
Jordan says, does Bray have full creativity of his character? I don't know if he has full creativity, but he is hands-on, and that's one thing I saw an interview with GameSpot.com designer Jason Baker discussed the creative process with Bray's new character. He said Tom Savini Studio has been working with WWE for almost 10 years now. We have a great relationship. We coordinate with the wrestlers to find out what they want. Spend a lot of time on the phone with them. He said Firefly Funhouse has consumed his life. But he said it's all Bray's brainchild. He's had these ideas. We did some concept art, but it wasn't really hitting home. So he got a really good sketch artist named Kyle Scarborough out of St. Louis to do concept art. And they took those sketches and brought the characters to life.
Brilliant.
He said they're great blueprints. They put their stamp on the mask as well. He did say the fans need to keep watching because they haven't seen anything yet. If they think that this is the greatest thing to ever happen, they just need to keep watching. It's going to blow them away. So I'm like, I read that, and I was like, it was just, it was all over.
Here we go. Here's what's gonna happen. The Fiend is gonna kidnap Triple H and Stephanie's 3 kids.
Jesus.
Brainwash them to be a part of the Firefly Funhouse, and we get the Fiend, Triple H at Super Sandown 5, not WrestleMania. Super Sandown 5, because it's just as big as WrestleMania. It's going to be weird to explain why a giant pirate ship is in Saudi Arabia, but it's going to be there.
We're making it happen.
Yeah.
They respond well to never mind. I won't even say it.
It's a bit archaic even for them.
The next 2 AEW on TV locations have been unveiled. Episode 4 will be in Pittsburgh on Wednesday, October 23rd at the Peterson Event Center. And I think somebody, I don't know if you're still in the, if the same people are in the question, but they asked why are they there and not at the PPG Paints Arena, and it's plain and simple, smaller buildings.
I agree.
Like, you'd rather sell out small than not sell out big.
Right.
And they're connected to that building because Britt Baker went to college there.
Ticket prices for that event, $90, $75, $50, $35, and $20.
I saw on Twitter somewhere somebody was actually surprised she's a dentist. They're like, oh, you're really a dentist. I can't. Why would you do what?
Oh, my God. Why would you be a dentist?
Right.
Because I'm going to stop taking bumps at 34.
Yeah.
And then I can do teeth until I'm 60.
Episode 5, Charleston, West Virginia, on October 30th at the Charlestown Coliseum. Ticket prices for that, $80, $60, $45, $30, and $20. Tickets for both of these events go on sale tomorrow at noon Eastern.
Sell out by one.
The worst part of the reveal was having to hear Cody Rhodes try to sing "Take Me Home, Country Roads."
I would say
I actually think Jim's got it worse.
Yeah. 2 things: the graphic, the color and display of the Charleston one says like Joel Osteen is coming to your city feel to it. Like nothing about that one says wrestling at all. But even more offensive than that is you don't even have the right fucking building on the picture. The building on the picture is the is like the West Bankco Arena or something like that in Wheeling, West Virginia, home of the Wheeling Nailers. And the only reason I really caught this is because it has the goddamn Wheeling Nailers logo on the fucking graphic.
Yeah, it sure does.
You didn't see that on the one with the 4 heads because the 4 heads, one of them covered it up. But when you put that Moxley graphic out there, it's an arena in goddamn Wheeling, West Virginia. It is your 5th TV episode, and you put the wrong arena on the fucking graphic. That's shitty. That's
bad.
fucking
That's
shitty.
bad.
It really is. But I think
no good.
The finals of the tag tournament, I believe, are at the Charleston Wheeling show.
Charleston Wheeling, that we're gonna call it.
I think we're gonna call it the Charleston Wheeling show. But Tim, you're more in touch with all the being the elites and all the being the road to elites or whatever they're called anymore. But I believe tag title finals, the first tag championship, is at Charleston Wheeling, right?
I haven't heard. I didn't think they got announced.
Okay. I thought I saw something along those
I'm
lines.
sure it has. I don't follow it. I follow the YouTube product. I haven't really been following the Twitter stuff. So if it got announced, it got announced. I mean, that's cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm ready to watch.
I'm ready for next weekend. I really am to see All Out. I'm ready for AEW TV to start. I'm also really ready to see if once TV starts if the and it should, and dear God, I hope it will. And we've talked about it before, is that the things you need to know are told to you on the TV show and not on other things. Earlier this week, I know we posted it when it came out. Tony Schiavone has been locked into a deal with All Elite Wrestling. He will continue his work with MLW. Do we know what his role is yet, or is it just he's with AEW in some fashion?
Not WWE.
Right,
his role.
right. Which I mean, the fact that WWE was pushing to get him, again, in what faction, I don't know.
You can just hear Tony go, "Oh, now you motherfuckers want to give me a call."
Right, because
okay.
Because that was the big. They didn't even want him to like work in video archive stuff. So, kudos to Tony. I mean, he's back in the wrestling game and seems to be super happy about it. WWE announced today that they are launching a podcast network with several superstar-focused series. The move into the audio space marks the first for WWE. It is with Endeavor Audio. It is their latest foray in exploring new podcast formats. As part of the release, it said storytelling is at WWE's core. We're eager to add the audio genre to our portfolio. Partnering with Endeavor Audio, an expert in podcasting, will enable us to provide our fans with unique content and reach new audiences across the platform.
So I just looked into the 3 Count Thursday DMs, and we still don't have an invite to join the podcast.
Yeah,
it's coming. It's coming. Yeah, we'll have to look into the spam folders, maybe.
Yeah, maybe you're in the email.
It's the number, not the word.
I'm curious to see where this goes and what it means. Is it going to be,
I'm happy to be the Saturday night or Saturday morning slam podcast.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah,
like I would.
I'd wake up Saturday morning just to do it.
I would work for fairly minimal wage to do that.
I will work for free WWE Network.
I'll work for free WWE shop merchandise.
Always about the swag.
I will work for a coupon code that gives me unlimited 25% off merchandise. I will still pay for it, but give me the free network. And the premium network that you're going to end up rolling out for like $27. Like, I want that one. I want the all network everything.
I want the special all network everything, like all red everything.
Yeah, I want that one.
I saw this today on Cage Side Seats. CM Punk's agent apparently has contacted the WWE about the upcoming FS1 talk show. For what reason, I don't know. The headline jumped out at me. I mean,
there's probably a story to be told there.
Probably.
I'm not gonna tell it.
I would be shocked.
I'm not interested.
I would be shocked.
You're not?
No.
To see them working with each other, I would be really surprised.
I just want wrestling's hot ex-girlfriend to just go away.
Yeah, like, dude, she was hot.
She was, but guess what?
We didn't even know what we had until she was gone.
Yeah,
and like,
but then she gave us chlamydia.
Jerk off to like pictures of her.
God,
look,
so,
it's
like,
past 11. We can say
still
chlamydia,
like.
Right?
No, I just wasn't ready to hear it.
Okay.
It's still something that I hold very fondly to me.
She hurt us.
I can still smell her on my pillow.
You do realize that because CM Punk wanted to go and take his ball.
Oh, we're talking about CM Punk? I thought we were talking about AJ Lee. Oh, never mind.
Okay. Cool. Because I was just going to remind you that because he left, we got Batista.
Yeah, and that breaks my heart.
I want Rusev to get.
I was happy.
I want Rusev to get the pushest of pushes, because he went at it with the Brad Shepherd this week. I guess
you're a big Brad fan, aren't you?
I love the Brad Shepherd. So I guess earlier in the week or a couple weeks ago, Brad Shepherd had posted an article that Rusev and Lana were not expected to re-sign with the WWE. Now, this week he said, according to a source in WWE, both Rusev and Lana are expected to re-sign with the company. To which Rusev quote retweeted, "You need to make up your you need to make up your mind, dude." And then
yeah, I mean Rusev doesn't know what to do here.
Right, and Brad said, "I report, you decide." And Rusev said, "How can you report when you have no idea?"
Yeah, fair.
And you did see that Rusev has gone completely clean shaven.
Oh yeah, clean shaven.
I didn't see
tightened
that.
up the haircut a bit.
Oh,
Dude's
look
fucking
at that.
He looks like a regular.
jacked.
He looks like an S kicker right now.
Yeah, it's
sure
good
does.
shit.
He is going to push somebody's S in real hard.
Yeah, just good shit. Just big, muscly, just muscles and
There's not much there on
Tops of
Getting
muscles.
elbow deep.
just getting this, ramming in there. Wait, sorry, what were we talking about?
Ramming
it. And finally, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Moxley is currently dealing with a minor injury, some sort of elbow injury. It may be an infection he got in Japan. See, he's always knowing what's going on in Japan. Those Wrestling Observer
He would know.
guys.
He would know.
Japan killed Reed Flair.
He worked shows this weekend for Northeast Wrestling, and with the exception of the 8/16 show in Poughkeepsie, his singles bouts were made tags. He pretty much assisted in doing his singles match with Pentagon Jr., very careful not to bump on the elbow. So, I mean, obviously, we're a week away from All Out. It'll be curious to see. I don't know his booking schedule. I don't know if he has any shows this weekend. It'll be curious to see what happens with those matches.
I thought they usually run all of his bookings through you. So why would you don't know?
Well,
his booking
it's been a
schedule?
busy week, so
Fair,
I
that's fair.
do
Right,
kind
that's fair.
of did kind of forget
You dropped
them
the
this
ball
week.
there. That's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. Shit happens.
I mean, this just in: wrestling guy dinged up. Not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean,
Wrestler hurt.
well, I mean,
Right.
if it is some sort of like staph infection, that could be a concern. But we got a week.
CM Punk.
Z-Pack doesn't work for AEW.
It does, yeah, that's fair.
Does he still work for WWE?
I think he does. You just
Okay, you
don't
just
trot him out.
you just don't see him. That's all that I got.
Do you guys follow Oni Lorcan on social media?
I have seen
His Twitters are hilarious.
I have seen some Oni Lorcan.
You want to run that back?
Love his Twitters. I really enjoy them. One I just found out. They're all little stories.
I'm going to let him live. Chat, you going to let him live with that?
One time before a match, Vince McMahon came up to me and shook my hand and said something. But I was so fired up and ready to kick ass, I couldn't understand. So I just yelled, rock and roll, and made the rock and roll sign with my hand. And I think he loved it. And then he walked away. And that's it. Just little stories like that. And they're all capital letters, so he's just yelling at you.
Fair.
Go follow Oni Lorcan. It's at _Star Destroyer.
Matt, do you have anything to add? Or if not, let people know. I believe our guest was the Woman of the Week this week.
Yep, guest was the Woman of the Week this week. Stay tuned. My Twitter is at 3CT, the letter A. Philly is in Philadelphia, the number 8, so 3CT affiliate. A lot of guest announcements coming up, so just make sure you're keeping an eye on that. Not that Recount Thursday doesn't retweet them, but if you want the news first, follow me.
Ooh, there it is. Exclusivity.
Or don't. I don't really.
That's good shit. I mean,
Notre Dame football's coming up.
We're 12 days away from fucking Fluties flying, so get it in now while the getting's good. Matt will
I'm getting blocked this year.
Yeah, that goals. Hashtag life goals. Matt, we'll talk to you next week, buddy.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.
All right, Tim.
Goodbye, Matt.
Where can the folks follow you?
At Not the Tool Man across all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat if you care. I stream on twitch.tv/Not the Tool Man every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're not streaming tomorrow because I'm closing on a house. So I'm not going to be online. So sorry. But if you want to hear more wrestling takes from me that aren't not necessarily so modern and are blasts from the past, check out Final Wrestling Place, wherever you find your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever. This season, our season 4 is makeshift tag teams.
I gotta. Since when did you guys start doing guests on there?
This is the first one,
and I'm fucking offended that I wasn't the first.
Well,
by the way,
he's the godfather of the podcasting network.
Well, then you best find a way to get my ass on
we'll
one of
figure
these
it
shows.
Out. We'll make it happen.
You best make it happen.
It will.
God damn it! I'm a day oneer.
I know.
I am a day oneer. Damn it! I just want to be a part of the thing.
We'll get you in there.
All right.
I listened to an episode.
Cool.
So I think I should be on before Jim.
I mean, for Ryan, listening to a podcast episode is pretty impressive.
It is pretty good. Yeah. It was the one with the dude in the thing.
The guy in the thing, and
Nice.
they're talking about wrestling.
The show and
Cool. And the Schnavitz and
She's in the Schnavitz part of.
But thanks, guys.
All right, Tim, thank you. Ryan, anything to add here?
Tim, I want to thank you as well. That's all I wanted to add.
That's all you want to add?
Yeah, dude, come out this weekend. Support independent wrestling. I'm hanging out at Atomic Championship Wrestling and Rogue Women Warriors. Big 3-part show. Dude, we got a cage match. Women cage matches.
Really?
Really, Jim. It's so much going on. Come hang out with us. Atomic Championship Wrestling over in Stevens, Pennsylvania. Really easy to find. Just plug it in. acwpro.com is the website to find all information.
Are you sure about that?
Tickets should be available at the door. Dude, they are selling very fast. So
Shut
get
up
your
and take
tickets
my money.
while you can. Tickets, like I said, should be available at the door. Come hang out with us. It's going to be such a good time. Just like this.
Boy,
so
that's
fluffy.
That's a lot. That's a lot of things
Loud noises!
that are happening. All right, we thank you. We want to thank again Valentina Loca for joining us here tonight on the show. Make sure you're following along with her and her journey through this crazy business we call wrestling. We want to make sure you go to 3countthursday.com. Follow us on all of our social media, our YouTube. Get our merchandise, whatamaneuver.net. Patreon.com/3countthursday is where you can find the pre-show, post-show, and much, much more. Our home network is ngscsports.com, and the sponsor of this show, Alicia's Pillows and Things. Decorate your home with fandom, be it sports, movies, TV, and much, much more. Pillows, stools, everything. Alicia's Pillows and Things. Go to ngscsports.com. Find the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage. Place your order. We'll talk to you next week. Stay safe. Stay smart. Go for the pin.